Sirius and the human history connection. Since ancient times and across multiple civilizations, Sirius, the dog star, has been surrounded with a mysterious lore. Esoteric teachings of all ages have invariably attributed to Sirius a special status, and the star's importance in occult symbolism is an attestation of that fact. Sirius is located in the constellation Canis Major, also known as the Big Dog, and is therefore known as the Dog Star. It is over 20 times brighter than our Sun and is twice as massive. At night time, Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, and its blue-white glare never failed to amaze stargazers since the dawn of time. No wonder Sirius has been revered by practically all civilizations. But is there more to Sirius than meets the eye? Artifacts of ancient civilizations have revealed that Sirius was of a great importance in astronomy, mythology and occultism. Mystery schools consider it to be sun behind the sun and, therefore, the true source of our sun's potency. If our sun's warmth keeps the physical world alive, Sirius is considered to keep the spiritual world alive. It is the real light shining in the east, the spiritual light, whereas the sun illuminates the physical world, which is considered to be a grand illusion. Associating Sirius with the divine and even considering it is the home of humanity's great teachers is not only embedded in the mythology of a few primitive civilizations, it is a widespread belief that has survived and even intensified to this day. We will look at the importance of Sirius in ancient times, analyze its prominence in secret societies, and we will examine these esoteric concepts as they are translated in popular culture. In ancient Egypt, Sirius was regarded as the most important star in the sky. In fact, it was astronomically the foundation of the Egyptians' entire religious system. It was revered as Sothis and was associated with Isis, the mother goddess of Egyptian mythology. Isis is the female aspect of the Trinity formed by herself, Osiris and their son Horus. Ancient Egyptians held Sirius in such a high regard that most of their deities were associated, in some way or another, with the star. Anubis, the dog-headed god of death, had an obvious connection with the dog star, and Hermes, the great teacher of humanity, was also esoterically connected with the star. The Egyptian calendar system was based on the heliacal rising of Sirius that occurred just before the annual flooding of the Nile during summer. The star celestial movement was also observed and revered by ancient Greeks, Sumerians, Babylonians and countless other civilizations. The star was therefore considered sacred, and its apparition in the sky was accompanied with feasts and celebrations. The dog star heralded the coming of the hot and dry days of July and August, hence the popular term the dog days of summer. Several occult researchers have claimed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built in perfect alignment with the stars, especially Sirius. The light from these stars were said to be used in ceremonies of Egyptian mysteries. This ancient people Egyptians knew that once every year the parent sun is in line with the dog star. Therefore, the Great Pyramid was so constructed that, at the sacred moment, the light of the dog star fell upon the square stone of God at the upper end of the Great Gallery, descending upon the head of the high priest, who received the super-solar force and sought through his own perfected solar body to transmit to other initiates this added stimulation for the evolution of their godhood. This then was the purpose of the Stone of God, whereon in the ritual, Osiris sits to bestow upon him the illuminate the ATF crown or celestial light. North and south of that crown is love, proclaims an Egyptian hymn. And thus throughout the teaching of Egypt the visible light was but the shadow of the invisible light. And in the wisdom of the ancient country the measures of truth were the years of the Most High. Recent scientific discoveries relating to the Great Pyramid and its mysterious air shafts have led researchers to further confirm the importance of Sirius within the pyramid. Star alignment with the Great Pyramid of Giza. Orion associated with the god Osiris is aligned with the king's chamber, while Sirius associated with the goddess Isis is aligned with the queen's chamber. A fascinating aspect of Sirius is the consistency of the symbolism and meanings attached to it. Several great civilizations have indeed associated Sirius with a dog-like figure and viewed the star as either the source or the destination of a mysterious force. In Chinese and Japanese astronomy, Sirius is known as the star of the celestial wolf. Several aboriginal tribes of North America referred to the star in canine terms, The Syrian Tohono O'odham tribes of the southwest describe the Sirius as a dog that follows mountain sheep, while the Blackfoot call it dogface. The Cherokee paired Sirius with Antares as a dog star guardian of the path of souls. The Wolfskeeti tribe of Nebraska knew it as the Wolf Star, while other branches of knew it as the Coyote Star. Further north, the Alaskan Inuit of the Bering Strait called it Moon Dog. 2. In 1971, the American author Robert Temple published a controversial book entitled The Sirius Mystery, where he claimed that the Dogons, an ancient African tribe from Mali, knew details about Sirius that would be impossible to be known without the use of telescopes. According to him, the Dogon understood the binary nature of Sirius, which is, in fact, composed of two stars named Sirius A and Sirius B. This led Robert Temple to believe that the Dogons had direct connections with beings from Sirius. While some might say you can't be Sirius sorry, a great number of secret societies who have historically held within their ranks some of the world's most influential people and belief systems teach about a mystic connection between Sirius and humanity. In Dogon mythology, humanity is said to be born from the Namo, a race of amphibians who were inhabitants of a planet circling Sirius. They are said to have descended from the sky in a vessel accompanied by fire and thunder and imparted to humans profound knowledge. This led Robert Temple to theorize that the Namos were extraterrestrial inhabitants of Sirius who traveled to Earth at some point in the distant past to teach ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians and Dogons about the Sirius star system as well as our own solar system. These civilizations would then record the Namos' teachings in their religions and make them a central focus of their mysteries. The Dogons' mythology system is strikingly similar to the ones of other civilizations such as the Sumerians, Egyptians, Israelites and Babylonians, as it includes the archetypal myth of a great teacher from above. Depending on the civilization, this great teacher is known as Eth Enoch, Thoth or Hermes Trismegistus, and is said to have taught humanity logic sciences. In occult traditions, it is believed that Thoth Hermes had taught the people of Atlantis, which, according to legend, became the world's most advanced civilization before the entire continent was submerged by the Great Deluge. Accounts of a flood can be found in the mythologies of countless civilizations. Survivors from Atlantis traveled by boat to several countries, including Egypt, where they imparted their advanced knowledge. Occultists believe that the inexplicable resemblances between distant civilizations such as the Mayas and the Egyptians can be explained by their common contact with Atlanteans. Was the religious, philosophic, and scientific knowledge possessed by the priestcraft of antiquity secured from Atlantis, whose submergence obliterated every vestige of its part in the drama of world progress? Atlantean sun worship has been perpetuated in the ritualism and ceremonialism of both Christianity and pagandom. Both the cross and the serpent were Atlantean emblems of divine wisdom. The divine Atlantean progenitors of the Mayas and Quiches of Central America coexisted within the green and azure radiance of Gucumatz, the plumed serpent. The 6 sky-born sages came into manifestation as centers of light bound together or synthesized by the 7th, and chief, of their order, the feathered snake. The title of winged or plumed snake was applied to Quetzalcoatl, or Kukulkan, the Central American initiate. The center of the Atlantean wisdom religion was presumably a great pyramidal temple standing on the brow of a plateau rising in the midst of the city of the Golden Gates. From here the initiate priests of the sacred feather went forth, carrying the keys of universal wisdom to the uttermost parts of the earth. From the Atlanteans the world has received not only the heritage of arts and crafts, philosophies and sciences, ethics and religions, but also the heritage of hate, strife, and perversion. The Atlanteans instigated the first war. And it has been said that all subsequent wars were fought in a fruitless effort to justify the first one and right the wrong which it caused. Before Atlantis sank, its spiritually illumined initiates, who realized that their land was doomed because it had departed from the path of light, withdrew from the ill-fated continent. Carrying with them the sacred and secret doctrine, these Atlanteans established themselves in Egypt, where they became its first divine rulers. Nearly all the great cosmologic myths forming the foundation of the various sacred books of the world are based upon the Atlantean mystery rituals. Is Thoth Hermes Trismegistus the equivalent of the Dogons Namos, who are believed to originate from Sirius? Ancient texts concerning Hermes describe him as a teacher of mysteries who came from the stars. Furthermore, though Hermes was directly connected with Sirius in Egyptian mythology, the dog star, the star worshipped in Egypt and reverenced by the occultists. By the former because its heliacal rising with the sun was a sign of the beneficent inundation of the Nile, and by the latter because it is mysteriously associated with Thoth Hermes, god of wisdom, and Mercury, in another form. Thus Sothis Sirius had, and still has, a mystic and direct influence over the whole living heaven, and is connected with almost every god and goddess. It was Isis in the heaven and called Isis Sothis, for Isis was in the constellation of the dog, as is declared on her monuments. Being connected with the pyramid, Sirius was, therefore, connected with the initiations which took place in it. The Trismegistic Treatise The Virgin of the World from Egypt refers to the Black Rite, connected with the Black Osiris, as the highest degree of secret initiation possible in the ancient Egyptian religion. It is the ultimate secret of the mysteries of Isis. This treatise says Hermes came to earth to teach men civilization and then again mounted to the stars, going back to his home and leaving behind the mystery religion of Egypt with its celestial secrets which were someday to be decoded. Interpreting the mythology of ancient cultures is not an exact science and connections are inherently difficult to prove. However, the symbolic link between Sirius and occult knowledge has constantly appeared throughout history and has seamlessly traveled through the ages. In fact, it is as revered today as it was millenniums ago. Modern secret societies such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians and the Golden Dawn, which are considered to be Hermetic orders due to the fact their teachings are based on those of Hermes Trismegistus, all attribute to Sirius the utmost importance. An educated look at their symbolism provides a glimpse at the profound connection between Sirius and occult philosophy. To claim that Sirius is important to Hermetic orders would be a gross understatement. The dog star is nothing less than the central focus of the teachings and symbolism of secret societies. The ultimate proof of this fact, many secret societies are actually named after the star. The 17th numbered major trump is called Les Étoiles, French for the star, and portrays a young girl kneeling with one foot in water and the other on end, her body somewhat suggesting the swastika, more like Aquarius, Naiad. She has two urns, the contents of which she pours upon the land and sea. Above the girl's head are 8 stars, one of which is exceptionally large and bright. Count de Gibelin considers the great star to be Sothis or Sirius. The other 7 are the sacred planets of the ancients. He believes the female figure to be Isis in the act of causing the inundations of the Nile which accompanied the rising of the dog star. The unclothed figure of Isis may well signify that nature does not receive her garment of verdure until the rising of the Nile waters releases the germinal life of plants and flowers. In Masonic lodges, Sirius is known as the blazing star, and a simple look at its prominence in Masonic symbolism reveals its utmost importance. The Masonic author William Hutchinson wrote about Sirius, "It is the first and most exalted object that demands our attention in the lodge." The same way the light of Sirius made its way into the Great Pyramid during initiations, it is symbolically present in Masonic lodges. The ancient astronomers saw all the great symbols of Masonry in the stars. Sirius glitters in our lodges as the blazing star. The blazing star originally represented Sirius, or the dog star, the forerunner of the inundation of the Nile. The god Anubis, companion of Isis in her search for the body of Osiris, her brother and husband. Then it became the image of Horus, the son of Osiris, himself symbolized also by the sun, the author of the seasons, and the god of time. Son of Isis, who was the universal nature, himself the primitive matter, inexhaustible source of life, spark of uncreated fire, universal seed of all beings. It was Hermes, also, the master of learning, whose name in Greek is that of the god Mercury. In Freemasonry, it is taught that the blazing star is a symbol of deity, of omnipresence the Creator is present everywhere, and of omniscience the Creator sees and knows all. Sirius is therefore the sacred place all Masons must ascend to. It is the source of divine power and the destination of divine individuals. This concept is often represented in Masonic art. To achieve perfection, the initiate must successfully understand and internalize the dual nature of the world, good and evil, masculine and feminine. black and white, etc. through alchemical metamorphosis. This concept is symbolically represented by the union of Osiris and Isis, the male and female principles, to give birth to Horus, the star child, the Christ-like figure, the perfected man of Freemasonry, who is equated with the blazing star. The sun and moon represent the two grand principles. The male and the female both shed their light upon their offspring, the blazing star, or Horus. The Egyptian hieroglyph representing Sirius has been esoterically interpreted to be a representation of this cosmic trinity. The hieroglyph representing Sirius contains three elements: a phallic obelisk representing Osiris, a womb-like dome representing Isis, and a star representing Horus. This concept is so crucial for Freemasons that it was embedded in some of the most important structures in the world. The Washington Monument, an Egyptian obelisk representing the male principle, is directly connected with the dome of the Capitol, representing the female principle. Together they produce Horus, an unseen energy represented by Sirius. As stated by Albert Pike above, the Egyptian god Horus and the star Sirius are often associated. In Masonic symbolism, the Eye of Horus, or the all-seeing eye, is often depicted surrounded by the glittering of light of Sirius. A Masonic tracing board depicting the sun above the left pillar representing the masculine, the moon above the right pillar representing feminine, and Sirius above the middle pillar, representing the perfected man or Horus, the son of Isis and Osiris. The Eye of Horus inside a triangle symbolizing deity surrounded by the glow of Sirius, the blazing star. The light behind the all-seeing eye on the American dollar bill is not from the sun, but from Sirius. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built in alignment with Sirius and is therefore shown shining right above the pyramid. A radiant tribute to Sirius is therefore in the pockets of millions of citizens. Considered to be the female version of Freemasonry, although men can join, the Order of the Eastern Star OES is directly named after Sirius, the star rising from the east. A general public explanation of the origins of the order's name claims it originated from the star of the east that lead the three magi to Jesus. A look into the occult meaning of the order's symbolism, however, makes it clear that the OES is a reference to Sirius, the most important star of Freemasonry, its parent organization. Helena Blavatsky and Alice Bailey, the two main figures associated with Theosophy, had both considered Sirius to be a source esoteric power. Blavatsky stated that the star Sirius exerts a mystic and direct influence over the entire living heaven and is linked with every great religion of antiquity. Alice Bailey sees the dog star as the true Great White Lodge and believes it to be the home of the spiritual hierarchy. For this reason she considers Sirius as the star of initiation. This is the great star of initiation because our hierarchy and expression of the second aspect of divinity is under the supervision or spiritual magnetic control of the hierarchy of Sirius. These are the major controlling influences whereby the cosmic Christ works upon the Christ principle in the solar system, in the planet, in man, and in the lower forms of life expression. It is esoterically called the brilliant star of sensitivity. Not unlike many esoteric writers, Bailey considers Sirius to have a great impact on human life. All that can be done here in dealing with this profound subject is to enumerate briefly some of the cosmic influences which definitely affect our Earth, and produce results in the consciousness of men everywhere, and which, during the process of initiation, bring about certain specific phenomena. First and foremost is the energy or force emanating from the sun Sirius. If it might be so expressed, the energy of thought, or mind force, in its totality, reaches the solar system from a distant cosmic center via Sirius. Sirius acts as the transmitter, or the focalizing center, whence emanate those influences which produce self-consciousness in man. In 1907, Aleister Crowley started his own occult order called the AA, short for Argentium Astrum, which can be translated to the Order of the Silver Star. The Silver Star was, of course, a reference to Sirius. Even if Crowley almost always referred to the dog star in veiled terms, the whole of his magical philosophy, from his development as a young Freemason through to his final years as the head of the OTO, is wholly in accordance with the Sirian influence, which was identified and expressed by other writers of his era. His alleged contact with his holy guardian angel that later led to the channeling of Liber Al, the Book of the Law, is believed to have originated from Sirius. If Crowley used code words to describe Sirius, his protege Kenneth Grant has explicitly and extensively written about the dog star. Throughout his numerous books, he often described Sirius as being a powerful center of magical magnetic power. His belief that the star holds the central key to unlocking the mysteries of the Egyptian and Typhonian traditions has strengthened over time and became a central focus of his research. One of Grant's most important and controversial theses was his discovery of the Sirius Set current, which is an extraterrestrial dimension connecting Sirius, the Earth, and Set, the Egyptian god of chaos, who is later associated with Satan. Set is the initiator, the opener of man's consciousness to the rays of the undying God typified by Sirius, the sun in the south. Sirius, or Set, was the original headless one, the light of the lower region, the south, who was known in Egypt as in the dog, hence Set, and Satan, lord of the infernal regions, the place of heat, later interpreted in a moral sense as hell. Although each occult philosophy describes Sirius in a slightly different manner, it is still consistently regarded as the sun behind the sun, the true source of occult power. It is perceived as the cradle of human knowledge, and the belief of the existence of a strong connection between the star and planet Earth never seems to become outdated. Is there a true link between Sirius and Earth? Is the dog star an esoteric symbol representing something happening in the spiritual realm? It is both. One thing is for sure, the cult of Sirius is not a thing of the past and is very alive today. An in-depth look at our popular culture, which is heavily influenced by occult symbolism, reveals numerous references to Sirius. Direct references to Sirius in popular culture are too many to enumerate. For example, see the name and the logo of the most important satellite radio in the world. A more interesting aspect of popular culture to analyze are the coded references to Sirius. Important movies have indeed made veiled yet profound references to the dog star, apparently intended to those in the know. Where the star plays the role it was always given by the mysteries, as an initiator and a divine teacher. Here are some examples. In Disney's Pinocchio, based on a story written by Freemason Carlo Collodi, Geppetto prays to the brightest star in the sky to have a real boy. The blue fairy, her color is a reference to Sirius' light blue glow, then descends from the heavens to give life to Pinocchio. Throughout the marionette's quest to become a boy, an allegory for esoteric initiation, the blue fairy guides Pinocchio towards the right path. Sirius is therefore represented as a source of life, a guide and a teacher. The theme song of the movie Pinocchio is also an ode to Sirius. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are, anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dreams, no request is too extreme when you wish upon a star as dreamers do. Fate is kind, she brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. In Harry Potter, the character named Sirius Black is most likely a reference to Sirius B, the darker star of Sirius' binary system. He is Harry Potter's godfather, which makes Sirius, once again, a teacher and a guide. The wizard can turn into a big black dog, another link with the dog star. In The Truman Show, a spotlight, used to imitate the light of a star in Truman's fake world, falls from the sky and nearly hits him. The label on the spotlight identifies it as Sirius. Truman's encounter with Sirius gives him a glimpse of true knowledge and prompts his quest for truth. Sirius is therefore the star of initiation. It caused Truman to realize the limitations of the studio world, our material world, and lead him to freedom, spiritual emancipation. From the dawn of civilization to modern times, from remote tribes of Africa to the great capitals of the modern world, Sirius was, and still is, seen as a life-giver. Despite the disparity between cultures and epochs, the same mysterious attributes are given to the dog star, which can lead us to ask, how can all theses' definitions synchronize so perfectly? Is there a common source to these myths about Sirius? The dog star is invariably associated with divinity and is regarded as a source of knowledge and power. These connections are particularly evident when one examines the teachings and the symbolism of secret societies, who have always taught about a mystical link with this particular celestial body. Is there a secret link between human evolution and Sirius? Unlocking this secret would mean unlocking one of humanity's greatest mysteries.